Hi, Liz, and welcome to my podcast. I'm so glad that you're here today. We're going to go into all the things that you have been working on over the last 3 years since you were on this podcast 3 years ago, actually.
It's crazy how fast time has just gone. I can't believe it's been 3 years, but I'm really excited to be here again.
Yes, because you were one of the first people I had on my podcast. And at the time, you were a business coach, which you still are, and you were just somebody that was really like out there helping women, just kind of get all the jumble, all those thoughts that we, kind of have in our head, get it out, into a plan. And, very much like slay your dreams, I remember. And you're still doing amazing things, but I love how now you've kind of evolved and you've really streamlined it into, you know, um, just a soul-based, type of business.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so I started my business over 4 years ago now, and yeah, I hit it hard from the slay all day. And I still love that, and I still believe it, and it's kind of just part of my personality. But I think a lot of how I jumped into things was just my conditioning of being, a real go-getter, and kind of having to have to do that over the years in my jobs and all of that. So it's been a really interesting, I feel like, transformation, progression, journey of just learning when to maybe back off a little bit, learning when to really connect back to myself. I think what really became evident to me was that I had become very disconnected from myself. And so that all started to play a part in my body, in my mind, in my spirit, all of it, when I realized just how disconnected I was, and that I had to make some changes. I couldn't keep going down that road, and it certainly wasn't serving my business. So it's been a really interesting journey, I would say, over the last few years.
Yeah, and I love to watch it you grow with it
Mhm.
because I think also at the same time I was having the same realization with myself, like things were not working.
Yeah.
And just recently, just to bring in more of myself into my business and that we can have both, right?
Yeah.
We can have these heart led businesses, but still help people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I agree. I think that's been one of the biggest shifts for me was like realizing after kind of having my head down, just grinding and, doing well in my business and all of that, but then realizing that I was super disconnected from myself and that I was starting to get out of alignment in my business. And old me would have been like, just keep going, make it work, force it. And I think just taking that step back, taking that time to really contemplate and reflect and figure it out so that we can pivot and we can get back into alignment is so important. It's been really important for me, and it didn't happen overnight. It took quite a while, and I'm still on that journey. It's
Yeah.
ever changing, right? But I think that is part of the process of being an entrepreneur. And I think that for me, like the real key was understanding, like you said, that as soulful entrepreneurs, our businesses are just an extension of us, and it can handle that. Our business can handle that. Whereas before, maybe it felt like it had to be business and it had to be Liz, and life and business were different. And I just don't feel that way anymore. I think as heart-led, soul-led entrepreneurs, that they really can do this beautiful dance, and it really benefits our business when we can show up as ourselves in our business and just let it be an extension of us.
Yeah, and I love that. And I want
Yeah.
to go back a little bit to where when you were first like feeling that you were out of alignment. What did that, because I think a lot of times we can get like in the go, go, go and get stuff done, and then we don't even realize it until we have maybe a health crisis or our marriage is gone like gone
Yeah.
down the tubes, or something else is suffering in our life. Is there anything that you kind of noticed that was,
Yeah.
going down the wrong path, I guess?
Yeah, well, I will tell you, it was, I say I found this path out of desperation, and it was because of health, first and foremost. And it showed up in the form of just my body. And it started with headaches. I was getting these headaches all the time. And honestly, they lasted about 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Um, and and really just recently have I gotten them under control, I guess, for lack of a better way of saying it. But that's really how it showed up. And I like to say that kind of started as like a little knock that just turned into a loud bang. That was like, if you don't start paying attention, like we're gonna full stop you. So whether
Yeah.
you want to listen or not, we're here. And it's so funny because I once had somebody tell me in the ceremony I was attending. She said, one day you're gonna be thankful for that pain. And I remember thinking, like, screw you, no way, not gonna feel thankful for it. I'm so over it and annoyed with it. And last year there was a moment where I was in this ceremony, and I thought, oh my God, I'm so thankful for the pain.
Yeah.
It's what I needed to wake me up and shift me in a different direction, and just get me reconnected to myself. And it's been such a gift. Not an easy journey necessarily, but one I wouldn't trade for the world, and has really, again, led me back to myself, which led me to creating a business that's much more in alignment for me, that really allows me to tap into myself and be myself and show up that way in my business. So again, I think for me, it started a lot with physical things that were showing up. And then, of course, that led to, I would say, just like dis-ease in my mind, where I started having a lot of just like anxiety and fears, and was worrying constantly, like looping patterns. And that's not typically how I am. So that to me was like, okay, what's going on here? I don't normally do that. So yeah, just I would say those are kind of the key things that for me is where it really started. Where I had to kind of just stop and take a look and see what was going on.
Wow. Yes. And I wish more people would take that nudge and listen to it before it gets too bad.
Yeah, and it just, I mean, to speak a little more on that, it really started of like I did all the things, right? I tried everything, and I think again, this is where it's like, oh, I've grown to love the pain because it's taught me like this whole philosophy now I have of just getting curious and following the breadcrumbs, because that's really what I did for 3 years. And it's, of course, started with like going to the doctor and getting a CT scan, and you know making sure everything was okay in my brain and those types of things. And then it was like, okay, let me try. I tried somebody who was teaching me like different kinds of Pilates and acupuncture, and just, I tried all the things
Yeah.
to figure out, it was a diet, was it the food I was eating, was it not enough water, was it not enough sodium, was it like, what were all the things? I tried everything. And so um I feel like, again, that was a really interesting journey just in and of itself, of like trying all these things and seeing at the end of the day, well, what were the things that were really like, oh, I actually think this helped or this didn't help, and learning more about myself has been, I think, really, really just an interesting journey for me to see, like, okay, when we just get curious about things and see where it leads, a lot of these things have led me to some really interesting places to learn more about myself or meet new people or new opportunities. And then just a total kind of shift in my business at the same time. So it's been, yeah, it's been a fun journey.
I love it. Yeah, it's so amazing when we can just think differently and get to know ourselves and then be playful, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, be playful in the journey. And
Yeah.
so, and that brings me into one of my favorite things that you are doing, which is the playground.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, let's like dive into, what led you to create that
Yeah.
and what kind of things are you seeing for all the people that are in the playground?
Yeah. Yeah, so the playground I think is something that was like it was just calling to me, and um it came about because I think of this journey I've been on and the breadcrumbs and curiosity kind of being my guiding light for a while, and I realized that like, oh, I've like learned a ton of stuff, but I also feel like I'm at a point where I I don't want to say I was burnt out on like coaching per se, because I love that part of what I do. But I just felt like, you know what? I really want to be in a community where it's just where we share, where we just can show up. We don't have to fix anything. We don't have to do anything, right? I had over the years enrolled in all the programs, and I think it was right after COVID kind of, or in COVID, where it's like everyone had a program and everyone does now too, and most of them are amazing, and so I get it, but I was feeling bombarded by just like all of the programs, all of the options, and everything felt like it was selling me on something. And I had just spent, all this time taking a lot of them, diving into these things, learning this, learning that. And I just kind of wanted my own space where I could show up and just not be the coach, right? Not be the one that's like, oh, this is what I would recommend. I want everyone to be the coach. I want everyone to have a say. And so it was really about creating the sisterhood space that we could come together, because everybody has expertise in something. Everyone has insights and input on their own experiences, that it's all valuable. And that's really what I wanted. So I created the playground, and it's an online community. Although we have a lot of people from Vegas, that's where I am. So we do
Yeah.
do some in-person stuff here in Vegas, like fire ceremonies and full moon events. But we basically get together a couple times a month on Zoom, and we just do like a playful practice is what we call it. And so sometimes I'll do those. A lot of the times I bring on our playground members who again are all doing amazing things in their own businesses, and I have them teach something. And then we just have a share circle once a month too, which to me, again, that's something I just was really looking for, was like this whole idea of just witnessing other people and then also having them witness you back, and just being held and holding is so powerful. It's so powerful. And I know those are like words, a lot of people, it's kind of trendy right now and we're throwing them around a lot, but
Hmm.
they're powerful. It
It's
really is
it's
amazing.
well, it's true. It's
It's
I
true.
recently started to join some circles in my community, and it's been so it's like it feels like I'm going home,
Yeah.
and it feels like something I really, really need, you know.
Yeah.
Um, Especially when you spend a lot of time online and talking to people online, it feels like and it can still be online too, like in a Zoom. But people that are just in that same space, you know.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, I agree. And it's just been really powerful for me to feel like, okay, I can show up on my good days and my bad days and everything in between. And when we do learn, I think especially, as women, to just really be there for other women. And if you're somebody like me, like I am kind of a fixer, I feel like I want to fix things. But to learn the skill of just like stepping back and just holding the line, so to speak, and just letting other people go through whatever it is that they're going through, and just being like, I got you. Like this container is rock solid, and you're going to figure this out, but we're here for you. And just being able to do that for others and have them do that for me has been really, really beautiful to experience. And I think it's shifted so much for me. And so that's what our share circle is just allowing people to come as they are, and hold, and hold everybody and be held however that may look for them. But the key thing again is I keep coming back to this thing where I felt like for a while it was like everybody was trying to fix everybody. And now we're getting away from that. Now we're really getting into like, oh yeah, you're in
Yeah.
the thick of things. Like, cool, good for you. I'm excited for you. You got this. I'm not going to give you all the answers. Like, you're going to figure it out on your own. If you need to vent, you need to like just talk it out. I'm here for you.
Hmm.
But I'm not here to just constantly be coaching and guiding and telling you what to do and giving you advice. You know what to do, right?
Oh my gosh, I feel you so much right now because I recently switched from just being a health coach to being a life coach,
Mm,
an intuitive life coach. And because I don't want to tell people what to eat or when to
mm,
exercise anymore because I learned through my own intuition too, of what my body needs. And so I want to help people do that. And so I love that mindset.
yeah. Yeah, and I think we're seeing that shift, right? We're seeing that
Mhm.
shift where a lot of people are really starting to understand that it's important to be tapped into your own guidance system, to your
Mhm.
own inner wisdom. We all have it. We just maybe have been programmed or conditioned, or we've fallen into patterns, right? Whatever it is, whatever the reason is, we've kind of lost it a little bit. So I think we're seeing more and more people are getting back in touch with themselves and understanding like, oh, wait, I actually know most of these answers already. They're just, we got to like find them in there and they don't happen like this, even though we want them to, it can take some time. So I think just creating spaces where we allow ourselves and we allow others to have the space and to have the grace to be able to find it out for themselves. It's really powerful. It's really powerful. So that's kind of the basis of the playground and why I started it. And it's a lot of fun and it's a beautiful, beautiful space.
Yes, it is. I love it. I'm gonna have to join.
Yes, you are.
I know. I've been kind of looking. I'm like, oh, that looks really interesting.
We'd love to have you in there. Your energy would be like spot on.
Yes, yes, yes. You sold me already. And then you recently have a master class
Yes.
um, that I took and I loved it. I love how you presented everything.
Mm,
And so, and I just love the idea of just how you think, I guess, and how you break everything down in a way that people can really understand.
yeah.
So why don't you explain a little about that?
Yeah. So this master class was really interesting how this came about, but um I was trying to figure out a way of, I guess, refining my one-on-one coaching that I do that I offer. And I wanted to incorporate a lot of the tools that I've learned and then just how I'm showing up in my business, what's working for me personally. So I created this masterclass to kind of bring that all together. And I realized after I had it kind of all laid out that it actually beautifully connected to the four elements and that each one of them kind of fit into the one of the containers of like air, water, fire, or earth. And it's so beautiful. So it's called a sacred business structure, and it's how we can use all of the elements, right? All of the four elements to be able to create a structure in our business that feels really good, that feels really connected, really aligned, that allows us to really let that creative juice flow and really be like taking action from a place of inspiration and intention, but also to be able to feel really rooted, to feel like really grounded. Because many times I think, especially as soulful entrepreneurs, like we have all the passion, we have all the fire, we have, all the wisdom, we have all those things, and we're just like exploding with it. And we don't always feel really grounded in it from a business standpoint. So, like, what are some of the structures and systems we can do to help support you in that? And so, yeah, I put that all together into a masterclass, a free masterclass, just to give people a taste of of like what's one thing from each of the elements that they can do that speaks to them. And I love it because it does incorporate, I think, so many different bits and pieces. And it allows it's like customized to you. It's not like, here's the box. This is what I say in the masterclass, right? Like, life is not meant to be lived in a box. We are soulful entrepreneurs. Like, we're not meant to be in a box. We're meant to be in a playground. And so the sacred business structure is really a playground. And so you can kind of, pick and choose and, really figure out like, well, what are the areas that I am really strong in? What are the areas maybe that I'm not as strong in? And so it's not like, I feel like a lot of coaching programs are like, here is the program and you have to do it this way. It's more like, okay, it's your program, it's your own thing, and let's figure out what works really well for you, that it can sustain you for forever. And it's not just your business, it's your life. It's how you can incorporate this into your life too. So yeah, I spent a lot of time putting that masterclass together. My heart really went into it. And I'm really, really proud of it. So, yep, it's free if anybody wants it. Maybe you can link to it or something like that.
I'm going to link all the things,
Awesome.
but especially that, because that, it was just really cleared things for me. It clarified things. And I was like, yes, I am a Gemini and you are too.
Same,
Yes.
same air
And,
element.
and
Yeah.
I was just learning about this recently, actually, about my husband too. My husband is an earth sign and
Mm,
I'm an air sign.
yeah.
And I'm very much in the eros, like
Yep.
I'm up there in the sky. So I really have a hard time grounding, and I've learned, that I really need to ground.
Yeah.
Um, and I need to have those grounding things. I'm not a planner.
Yeah.
But so we have to understand those things about ourselves, and then, kind of what can we bring in to help with all that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many tools out there. And I think it's so cool too, because we can look at it from the standpoint of like the four elements. And then we also look at it from the standpoint of like feminine and masculine energies. Right.
Mhm.
And so, um, it's really about creating harmony. It's not that anything is good or bad. It's just creating harmony and where maybe we might be out of balance to where we feel like it's affecting us, right? So if you're somebody who is like all flowy and doesn't plan anything and that's working well for you, awesome. But if
Yeah.
you don't feel like it's working well for you and you feel like you want to get grounded in a little bit more, then okay, we got to create a little bit more harmony there, right? And so it's just about this dance again. It's all about creating this dance of we're always moving between all of it. And so how do we just bring it together so we can really kind of ebb and flow and play in that space is, I think, that's really the whole concept of a sacred business structure. It can support all of you. It can be all of you. It can hold all of you.
And I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels good, right? It's like this
Yeah.
totally new way. I feel like it's, as people talk about like the new earth energy versus old earth energy, it's like, this
Yeah.
is really how I think the new earth energy is when it comes to entrepreneurship. And I think it is heart led. And I think it is for people that are, soul led entrepreneurs to really switch it up and make it work for them. And we don't have to fit into the old ways of doing anything, and we don't have to be part of the old energy like that.
Well, and I think, yeah, exactly what you said, like we're shifting, and I see it all around me now. Over the last couple of years, I've seen businesses, people that I've talked to, and we're getting rid of the old earth, right? The
Yep.
old earth energy, the old way of doing things. And so it's going to be hard at first for a lot of people, but
Yeah.
it's necessary, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That transition is always a little wonky, I think. And I think that's what for me personally, that's what I've been in for the last couple of years, right? I was
Mhm.
in that process of figuring that out for myself. And so I think it's different for everybody, and hopefully it'll go faster for others now. And I think that's another reason why I really wanted to put this together, because it's like, okay, this is really what I just spent the last 3 years kind of working on. And to be able to share that with people and just say, here, hopefully this will shorten things up for you. Like, you don't have to spend 3 years following all these breadcrumbs. And these are the key things that I think will really help to create that sacred structure within your life and your business. So I hope it serves in that way too.
Yes. And I want to ask you real quick about, because I went on your website and I saw that you are a 6'2" human design projector.
Yes.
And honestly, before I heard you talk about that, I didn't really know what that was. I'm not familiar with the human design stuff until like I had to kind of look it up.
Oh man. Yeah. And you know what? I haven't looked at my human design in a while. I've been really kind of into the gene keys lately.
Oh.
Um, but basically, projectors are, I think they're like 20% of the population, and projectors are supposed to, right? It's not everybody, but really the thing about projectors is we're supposed to just, how I would describe it is we're supposed to just live our life. Like we're supposed to just live our life being ourselves in our authentic state, and that
Mhm.
invitations will come to us. And then
Oh.
we can then decide, is that invitation right for me or not? Is that in alignment? And so it's more like a magnetism, I guess. So it's more being than doing. And that's been the really, I think, challenging part for me, because for most of my life I was a doer. And they say for most of the population are generators. That's one of the other types of a human design, is a generator. And I think 80%, or I don't know, a large portion of the population are generators. So our world is really created and based off of generators, which are the doers, right? They're out there like doing the things. And for instance, both my parents are generators, right? Like it's really interesting when you start to see who in your life are generators and why maybe why maybe it is that we are programmed a certain way. But really in my nature, that's not my nature. It's not to be like doing all the things. It's more for me to kind of sit back and wait for them to come to me.
Mm.
And that's been a really interesting shift. And so I took, that was one of the programs I took. I took a business coaching program. I worked with a business coach who specialized in human design and gene keys, to help me just see how maybe I could be doing things differently in my business based off of my profile, which I think is really, really interesting. Gene keys, I absolutely love. I actually use gene keys. Like if people work with me one-on-one, I pull their profile, because just that, you can get it for free. You can go to the website, right? Download it. Just that one-page profile is, just that. If you're into human design or gene keys, I think applying it to your business is awesome. And then if you're not sure what that is, Google it, look it up. It's always fun to just find that out. And because it's really, it feels, so much of it feels really true, at least for me, when I look at my profile and my designs. Like I haven't looked at my human design in a while, so I always have to go back to my notes, but it's like the teacher, I think it's teacher and hermit.
Oh.
Which like both of those is like exactly me. It's like, okay, yes, that's how I am. So it explains like
Mhm.
what those are. So yeah, I think it's a beautiful way to just explore, again, to get curious and follow those breadcrumbs and see which parts feel like they apply and which parts feel true for you.
Yeah, I'm really interested, to find out. I feel like I'm a lot like you, where I'm a teacher and a hermit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I have this drive in me to like teach people, what I
Yeah.
know about certain subjects, but not in a way that's like me telling them what to do. More
Mm,
like, you know, this is just what I found, to work
yeah.
or
Yeah. Do
but
you know if you're a projector too?
I have never taken the test.
Okay. I'd
So
be curious to know if you're a projector. My sense is you're probably a projector because
when I
yeah.
saw yours, I was like, I feel like I'm a projector.
Yeah, that's my sense. You know.
Yes.
You should take it because now I'm really curious to see what you are. But I feel like we
Yeah.
have a lot of similarities and just maybe how we would approach things and um, yeah,
Yes, I feel like I am a lot like you too. I mean, we're Geminis and
yeah.
um but I have had my star charts, read astrology, and it
Hmm.
was very interesting because it yes, that I was definitely a teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so and I was like a teacher, but not like an actual teacher like in
Hmm.
school. Like we can all be teachers in like so many ways.
Yeah. Yeah. We're all guides. And I think um it's just putting it out there of like, this is what works for me, or this is what I've tried, or, that's
Yeah.
where I think more of like the facilitation, the guide, that kind of thing, is, probably more of a word I'm starting to use, than like a coach or whatever for
Yeah,
me
and
personally.
and that's me too. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm starting to use that verbiage of just being a guide, and
Yeah.
I want to help people to tap into that inner knowing, to
Mhm.
that intuition, that we all have inside of us.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all our own medicine, we're all our own gurus. And I feel like there's been so many beautiful, like what I would call more mentors in my life, whether they're people I've met or not, but just to use them more as a mentor and a little bit of a guiding light, to maybe bring up some things that I can't see in myself, or just to point me in a certain direction, and then I got to take it from there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you've been that for me.
Oh, great.
Yeah, yeah. Like I really need to bring more like playfulness and embodiment into my life. And so
Yeah.
a friend of mine runs these like dance, she calls it dance church.
Oh, I love that.
I know. And she does like and she does a circle where she has people come in and each person gets to do an offering once a month. And
Mm.
so sometimes it's like sound healing, sometimes it's some kind of shamanic, drumming or something like
Yeah.
that. And it's so nice to have um that safe place that we can go to and move our bodies in a safe
Yeah.
way and just get more in touch with ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like that's where a lot of people are right now. Like that's how,
Mhm.
especially women, they're feeling that right now. And kind of going back to the playground a little bit, I think that's once I opened those doors to the playground, like that's what I was hearing from women is like, oh my gosh, I need more playfulness. Like I think especially these last few years have been so heavy on us. And
Yeah.
I don't know how much lighter they're gonna get in the coming years, but like just bringing some of the lightness and the playfulness and just tapping back into our own pleasures and what are the things that light us up and bring us joy and peace. And I think we're really looking for that, and we're looking for communities, we're looking for that within ourselves. I think that's where a lot of people are, wanting to find that more and more.
Yes. And that reminds me of some of these retreats you've been doing. And
Yeah.
I want to go, I really want to go. Because you make it look so much fun, and I'm sure they
Mm,
are fun. So and one of the ones that you recently had was the Connect to Self Women's Retreat, right?
yeah.
And I was really curious, like, what goes on?
Yeah.
Of course, you
Yeah.
don't have to tell me everything, but maybe,
No.
yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah. So the connecting to self retreat was really beautiful. So the kind of the concept behind it, it can be customized, but they're small groups. And I think how we're really looking to share them is one of two ways. I think we're going to do more of them, but they'll just be open for, whatever, 5 people, whoever wants to come. But I think one of the really cool things about this retreat we just did is that it was a group of 5 women who are all friends. So
Oh,
they were all from Connecticut, and they basically were all starting to feel like the same things, like they're all in their early 40s, they have children, they have partners, or they're divorced or whatever it is. And they're just like at this point in their life where they were feeling like, gosh, I haven't taken a lot of time for myself, and I'm starting to feel like these things, just coming up for me, and I'm not maybe feeling as fulfilled as I want to feel, and I'm feeling the heaviness, and I'm feeling kind of all of the roles that I have to play as mother, as daughter, as mom, as partner, wife, whatever it is, as boss, as whatever. There's all these masks, all these roles, all these responsibilities, and they're just left feeling a little disconnected. And so it was really beautiful because they were all friends. They all pretty much knew each other. Some of them had known each other since like elementary school.
Oh, wow.
And so to bring them together, they flew out from Connecticut for 4 days. They flew into Vegas, rented a van. They drove up to the cabin, which was outside of Zion National Park in Utah, southern Utah. We had this incredible, like, beautiful, large cabin and house. I don't even want to call it a cabin, house. And we just spent 4 days together. We cooked all of the meals for them. We made cacao for them every morning.
Oh.
And it was a real mix of like inner work. So it wasn't always easy. It was work. And they kept saying that. They're like, oh my gosh, this is work. Like, I'm exhausted. I'm like, this ain't just, you're not coming here just doing yoga and like hanging out on the deck all day. No. But that's what they were there for, right? To do the work. And it was blended in with just some time for them to go for a walk, be alone, whatever it is, process. And yeah, and then we'd have like a dance party here and there or whatever. But it was a lot of fun, and they just raved about it and how they felt afterwards, and how excited they were to go home with this new knowledge, this new tools and resources, feeling more connected to themselves, feeling more alive, and being able to apply that back, in their life, was really, really powerful. But yeah, I think one of the coolest things, like, this is one of the lessons we learned, was that when we do them in the future, everybody's going to get their own room. Like, there's no sharing rooms, which was something in the beginning. I'm like, okay, we can fit 2 people per room, and, whatever.
Oh, okay.
And then we realized, like, for this group and for a lot of people, they don't have their own space, right? Their kids are always coming into the room, or they share it with
Yes.
somebody. They just don't have their own space to be able to like close the door and lock it, like take up the whole bed. Or, I encouraged them one evening, just like, ladies, you got the house to yourself. Like, the music's on loud. Like, if you want to take some time to yourself in that room, and like have a little self-pleasure moment, go for it. Like, now's the time. We're here.
Yeah.
When? Like, so it was just like, it was a free-for-all. It was like just whatever was calling to you. And it was just, my heart is still like, I'm still radiating from it because it was just a few weeks ago. And based off of that, we had like 10 more people that were like, we want to do a retreat like this. And so we'll definitely be doing more, because they're just beautiful. It just flowed. It flowed so awesome.
Oh, it sounds so magical.
Yeah.
I know, even just a room to myself right now would be magical.
And then somebody who cooks and cleans for you. Come on.
Yeah, sign me up.
That was the other thing. Each one of them at one point in the beginning was like, can we help? Like, what do you want us to do? You want us to, start making dinner? And we were like, thank you for asking. I said the same thing to each one of the girls. Thank you for asking. No, you do not have to do anything. If I need help, I will ask. Know that I will ask. And every one of them was like, oh my God, thank you so much for saying that. Like, I have to ask. Like, it's just in me to say, like, how can I help? But now that you've told me, like, you'll ask for help if you need it, I'm not going to worry about it. And I was like, yes, like, we're cooking, we're cleaning, we're doing all the things. We are here to just nourish you and support you and serve you, so you can just be here in this moment. And if we need help, we'll ask.
Oh my gosh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's in a lot of us as women too, is just to always ask.
Yeah.
And also I was actually trained by my mother.
That's right.
We would
Yeah.
go to someone's house. We would do their dishes. We'd be like,
Yes.
can we clean up? Can we? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, which is beautiful. And we should do that. That's nice. But I also love that they accepted it, and
Hmm.
it was like this is what we worked on actually for the 40s too, was like receiving, just receiving,
Yeah.
being able to receive
That's
that.
that's something personally I've been working on for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I've been having, yeah,
Same.
I'm better at it now, is like asking for help, receiving. Even
Mhm.
my own family's like, I'm like, my son's like, Mom, just sit down.
Right.
I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah,
It's just hard. It's a hard thing, I think.
yep. I feel you. I'm right there with you.
Well, I have loved talking to you, Liz.
Mm.
And
Always fun.
yes, yes, yes. And I'm just so glad to see all of the amazing things you're doing. And I'm gonna link everything in the show notes. And I just in closing, I want to ask you, since the new name of my podcast and my business is Lifeforce Lotus.
I love it.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
And so I want to ask you, what is truly filling your life force, and allowing your inner lotus flower to emerge right now?
Mm, great question. I mean, I think for me right now is um just allowing myself to just be without feeling like I have to be doing something all the time. And
Oh,
I want to give you one example because this is today. This was me today, and I got such a glimpse of what this actually looks and feels like. So I had a live for my Facebook group earlier today at 11. I did that, and then I hadn't booked anything really between then and this call, which was a couple hours later. And I found myself like, um, you know, obviously like doing the social media scrolling, and I did some posting, and then I found myself just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And then I was like, well, what else can I do? Like, let me look at my calendar. What can I bring forward, like that I have tomorrow that I can do today? And just feeling so antsy. And then all of a sudden I popped outside, and it's gorgeous here. It's like beautiful. And I grabbed a chair and I sat, and I was like, oh, it's really nice out. And I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna come outside and read. So I brought my book, and I brought out my speaker, and I got in my bathing suit. And I went and sat in the backyard, and then I was like, I'm not even going to read. I think I might take a nap. And I played this awesome music, and I ended up just taking a nap. And I was sitting there, right before I took the nap, and was thinking like, yes, like this is the energy. This is the energy I want, of just, we can slow down. Business will still do great. Life is still lifing, like everything is still happening, but we have this time in this moment. We don't have to fill it with just random stuff that is not important. And let me just fill my cup right now with some sun and some fresh air, and just grounding in and taking a nap and whatever. Like I have the opportunity to do that and take advantage of it. So I don't know. That's just something that I feel like I want to start tapping into more and more. And when I get those little glimpses of like, oh, this is it, Liz. This is the moment you get to actually practice that. This is the moment you get to be that. And then be it and actually feel really good about it is
Mhm.
kind of that next level. And today I got a glimpse of that, like, oh, I get to be that and feel really good about this. So it's that whole concept of what I say, play and pleasure can be a portal for abundance to flow to us, to flow through us, and to flow to everyone around us. So really tapping into that idea of play and pleasure as a portal, for prosperity is what is lighting me up right now.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Yes, just having that space.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so amazing. Well, Liz, tell everybody, where can they find you? Of course, I will post all your links
Yeah.
down below, but yeah, where can people connect with you?
Yeah, I would say connect with me on Instagram at Liz Landeen. You can check out my website, Liz Landeen, if you're interested in joining the playground. It's all on there. And then the masterclass, I don't think I actually have it linked on my main website. So I would just say the link will be down below if you're interested in getting the free masterclass. And those are probably the key ways.
Well, thank you so much for spending some of your sacred time
Yeah.
today with me. And I appreciate your friendship and I look forward to the playground.
Awesome. Same, same. Thank you so much. I always love talking with you. It's always fun. We could talk forever.
Yes, yes, we can. Well, thank you, Liz. Bye
All
for
right. Thank
now.
you. Bye.